Hey guys, welcome back. It's your girl Toya T, and this is my recap and review of Insecure Season 2, Episode 6, Hella Blows. Welcome back to the wind down. I got me some rosé for this occasion because I laughed so hard at this episode and I thought it was extra special. It was a kind of episode that your girl Toya T really can get into. So let's start it off with a sip. Okay. Alright, so let's start this off by talking about Issa. It opens up with Issa and we see that she's in bed. Her alarm goes off and I'm like, where is she going? Is she late for work? Of course, it is one of those issues for anybody that has a car. I know some of my New York folks, you don't have that issue, but for the rest of us, well, at least not me because I live in the suburbs and so I don't have that problem, but I do understand the struggle. She had to wake up to move her busted ass car from one side of the street to the other because it was street cleaning and them tickets, you know that Issa can't afford that shit. And so it's so funny that when she moves the car, there's some guys outside like, your bumper's messed up. She's like, I know, stupid. Like, why are you talking to me? So we see Issa trying to get her car fixed. She meets up with Molly. Molly's talking to her about how the fact that she fucks Dro and she doesn't know what to do about it and she's like so confused, and Issa's like, yeah, that happens because you literally, like, you fucked up that friendship because you literally fucked your friend. And I was like, yeah, that's true. And she can't say that she was drunk. She was like in an emotional place, but it looked like she had a good time. And so she did tell Issa that she was going to be meeting up with Dro to talk about this whole situation, about what happened between them. And it seems like she wants to end it, but we'll see later that she's not even close yet. Issa hears from the mechanic who tells her that her bumper to get fixed is going to cost, it's not even just her bumper, it's her bumper and the hood of her car. It's going to cost her $5,500 to fix it. And I was just like, shit. She's like, I'm poor, like what the hell? And I'm thinking, I got an estimate like that once when my one of my Hondas, because I've had several cars, don't judge me, I've had like 5 cars. I've had 5 cars in the last 7 years, but I got an estimate like that once on a raggedy car, and I really just ended up buying a new car because the amount of money they asked me to give, like $5,500, you can put a down payment on a new car, or you can buy a whole new, well, not new, but a used car for that price. I mean, she needs to work that out, but we all know that Issa don't make no money at this nonprofit. She's doing it for the love of the kids and for having a job, and so I don't know how she's gonna work this out because we see her later taking the bus. And I don't know about that bus life in LA. I don't see, like, I don't feel like they go anywhere. Like, this is not like New York or any eastern cities or Boston where buses actually go places. So it'll be interesting to see how this works out for her, trying to get to work and get to the school all via bus. And we do see that she sees one of the Latino kids from the East 44th Street on the bus, and he sees her and he's like, oh shit, oh my gosh, that's the lady that I like freaking stole the food from her program. Oh gosh. And I know, like, from that right there, Issa is probably feeling a little guilty, like things are starting to crumble from this, because the episode is called Hella Blows. I don't think I mentioned that, but it's called Hella Blows, and I think she's starting to feel like, what Frida's been talking about, like the whole guilt over excluding the Latino kids from the Who Got Y'all, not Who Got Y'all, We Got Y'all. Damn, this is what happens when you drink this early. I'm sorry, guys. Anyway, so we catch up with her. She's at work. Dro's calling her. She's at work like really late, and they're having like some cute banter. And he's like really just talking to her like nothing has ever happened, and she's super uncomfortable about what happened. And she's like, are we gonna talk about the fact that we had sex? And she's like whispering it, and he's like, it doesn't, whispering it doesn't change the fact that we had sex. Like, it's cool, it's whatever, like sex happens, it ain't nothing. But she as I said before, really wants to talk to him in person about what's happening. So they're actually meeting up to watch a basketball game at a bar. And so she gets off the phone with him because her mom is calling her. she's still not talking to her parents, so she uses it as an opportunity to get off the phone with him. And so she's like, yeah, I'll see you, you know, at the bar tomorrow, you know, all right, bye. And so she gets off, hangs up on him, and hangs up on her mother, who was calling her. And I am waiting to see how this works out. I hope from this experience, and this is shout out to one of my viewers, Margot, who mentioned Molly's therapist, who we know that she stopped going to, and I hope with this whole family issue, when she had this whole idea of shoulda, like I should get this, like I'm looking for a relationship like my parents, and if I do this I should have a healthy, happy relationship that doesn't have issues. I'm hoping that she would go back to the therapist by the end of the season to unpack all these things that she's gotten herself into with the open marriage situation, and then with her finding out the infidelity in her parents' relationship. And so we eventually see Molly meet up with Dro, who I love his name, I like his hair, I like his character. Like, he seemed real cool, but is it me? And I don't find him like necessarily attractive. He's just not my type. Like, he's like really tall and I'm really short, so I really don't like really tall guys, and I really like chocolate. And so, well, that's just me. But anyway, they just look so weird to me when they get together. But she meets up with Dro at a bar, at a sports bar, and he's still like really being playful with her and trying to like tell her it's like really no big deal, like, you know, if we don't want to do this anymore, we don't have to do this, like, you know, I just, you know, it just happened. And she's being so uptight about it, and he's like, you know, I bought you one drink, like, you know, I bought you some fries, but you were late, so I ate them. And then they're like getting real playful and flirtatious about it, and she's like really making it seem like she was going to cut things off. But the next scene, after they started sharing the fries, and she kind of like put her guard back down and started to act like, you know, this is just not some random man, this is Dro, this is my boy, like I know him, I trust him. The next thing we see Dro's long ass giving that long stroke, or the short stroke, because he was like really getting it in, like, are you good now? Giving it to Molly, and she's like, yes, I'm good now. And I was like, oh gosh, girl. Yeah, so I don't see that ending anytime soon. When they finish, he was like, I thought you said this was a one-time thing, and now it's like a 4-time thing. And she's like, oh my gosh, yeah. And like, she's starting to get worried and started to ask him questions like, are you sleeping with other people? Which is a fair question to ask if you're sleeping with somebody that you know is married and is obviously sleeping with his wife, and obviously in a relationship where he can sleep with other people. And so she's asking about it, I think she's also trying to gauge, like, is there other Mollys that you've been involved with? And he's like, well, not only one at this time, really, but I'm not really, you know, looking to be fucking bad people. And so yes, I do have sex, I've had sex, like, you know, I'm married, like, you know the situation, but Candace is cool with it, it's cool, whatever. And so she kind of just goes with it, and they have sex again. So I guess it's a 5-time thing, or hopefully 6. That's just me. Can you tell I'm a pervert? Anyway, later on, I'm just going to continue with Molly. So later on, we see that they had a little rendezvous in the hotel. Like, he got a hotel room for them, and like a nice hotel, not like a motel, but like a nice hotel. She's in the tub, you know, bubble bath. He's like wiping, like, you know, washing her down and giving her a bath and fingering her and all this other stuff. And then his phone rings, and it's Candace, his wife, who apparently locked herself out of their apartment. And so he had to leave and go take care of wifey, because she is his wife. And I think it finally hits Molly, like, yes, I'm in the situation where, yes, I'm, you know, according to him, she does know, because he told her that Candace actually was the one that suggested they have an open relationship, so that they didn't have any restrictions on their, like, they didn't feel restricted in the marriage. That, you know, if you find this other person attractive, which does happen, like, you'll always find other people attractive if you're with somebody, single, not single, celibate, not celibate. And so she's the one that suggested it, and not him, which I think is an interesting fact, which also makes you like kind of figure out that she's also fucking other people. And so you know, Molly's like, oh, you know, that's real, boss. And he's like, yeah, you know, it's whatever. It's just like, that's just the way our relationship is. But it also points out for this whole, like, Candace calling, that she is definitely the priority. She is the wife they have this open thing where, yes, you can, you know, like to give my vagina a rest, you can go, you know, sleep with somebody as long as you keep it protected and, you know, you ain't bringing no babies and no diseases home and ain't catching feelings. Go ahead and do it, because as soon as she called, he was gone. He was like, you know what, you stay here. The room is paid for. The dinner's coming. You stay here and enjoy it. And Molly is just like, oh shit, like, I like the thing between us, but I'm not the priority. And I think it'd be interesting to see how she deals with that. Like, does she want to continue this, or does she realize that she definitely needs something more? And so that's all I will say about Molly's situation, because we'll see that the next episode, it's really about to hit the fan when she finally meets up with Candace, and I can't wait. But anyway, going to Lawrence, because his is the shortest, and then I will go finish off with Issa, because I mean, that's the shit that you came here for. Trust me. So Lawrence, we catch up with him. We see that he is actually pitching his app Woot Woot to his new bosses. I guess it's a startup firm where they kind of, a startup tech firm where they help like tech businesses like get the funding to actually launch their apps and stuff. And so he's telling them about Wooty Woo, and he's all smiling, like, you know, and then it aggregates all of this stuff about you, where you drink, where you eat, where you check in, your favorite foods, your favorite restaurants, and then it all comes together to give you suggestions. And they're just like, oh yeah. And I'm looking at it like, dude, this sounds really familiar. This sounds like Facebook. Well, pretty much his app sounds outdated. And so it was interesting that his bosses were just like, oh yeah, you know, I really like how you laid out your plan. It was very clear, da da da. And they start to deflect, because his two bosses are these like stereotypical like white tech guys, like, you know, the bigger one and then the small one. And they're like, oh, like what's, like, they're focusing on different things, just trying to deflect, not turning him down. And so one of them was like, yeah, you got some really cool sneakers. What are those? And, you know, he happened to be wearing like retro Jordans. And they're like, yeah, man, those are real cool. Those are fly. And, you know, Lawrence is like, okay, that's weird. And he goes to one of his coworkers to ask for some advice, who was there longer. And she was like, you might want to lower your expectations, because they weren't interested. They were trying to let you down easy. And he's like, Lawrence is just like, no, they weren't. Like, you lying. Like, you are a hater. All this other stuff. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. And she's like, no, I know when they are interested in stuff. Like, they will ask follow-up questions. They will critique it. They will look for holes. And then they will set up the follow-up meeting. And they didn't do any of that with you. So you really should pay attention to the signs that they're really not interested in your app. And the fact is that your app actually is outdated. Like I said, it sounds like Facebook, it sounds like Foursquare, it sounds like all these other apps that do these things where they keep track of the things that you like and then make suggestions for you based off of that stuff. And so when Lawrence actually goes to talk to his bosses and like actually ask them like, oh, okay, so what's next? Are you guys, you know, do you want to hear more about my my app? And, you know, like, I do think that, you know, I could have tweaked this. And they're like, yeah, man, you know, like, we really want you to encourage you to, you know, keep going and keep striving. And we're looking forward to Lawrence 2.0, meaning like, yeah, this is a good start. Keep coming up with ideas, but we're not interested in this. And then again, they deflect back to his sneakers. Like, where did you get those sneakers again? Like, yeah, man, those were like real cool. And so after that, Lawrence finally gets it. It hit him, because hella blows. It hit him in the face that they were trying to let him down easy. He got an honest truth again. So Lawrence getting all the honest truths. He got told by Tasha he was a fuck boy. He got told by Derek that he was a fuck boy. And shouldn't be mad that Issa did look in another direction, because he wasn't putting it down, because he was living on the couch, on her couch for 2 years, having her take care of him, and, you know, and he sitting there collecting freaking unemployment checks. And then he got his coworker telling him, like, you know, like, your app that you were working on so many years ago is now outdated, and you got to start working on the new things. And so he goes to her and tells her, like, you know, you were right. And she's like, you know, I was the same way too. I had this great idea for an app that was called Drive By, that was supposed to be like Lyft and Uber. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, can you imagine? I was like, oh girl, I gotta call me a Drive By. crazy. But it was cute because he actually was like joking with her, like, did you have gun sounds like when the ride would arrive? Like, what the hell is this? And so they joke around, and he realizes that it's time for him to let go of this old idea, this old business plan that he had, and move on to the next thing. And I think, again, this is all for Lawrence. This whole season is like moving on and growing, because he was so stunted when he was living living with Issa and sleeping on her couch and not employed and not really doing anything for 2 years. And then all of a sudden now I feel like he's finally starting to grow. He finally moved out of Chad's house, off his blow up mattress, into his own place. He finally got a job that actually fits with his training and his interest, and he's finally seeing like, okay, I can't rush into relationships right after another one. I'm not really the type of guy that can just fuck and not, try to do the girlfriend experience. And I really do need to like start opening my mind to new ideas. So that's that for Lawrence. And I do think that something's gonna go down between him and that coworker. She's real cute. I'm surprised I didn't like hook up before, but I think some office romance might work there. But I think that it might not be a good idea, because again, Lawrence ain't good at this. He's really not good at this. Not at all. Now for Issa. Gotta take another sip. I might take a whole gulp. Take another one. All right. Issa and the whole rotation. So Issa apparently had been getting some lately. She was like trying to hook up with Daniel. I mean, I guess after he dropped her off after a car accident. He was been kind of busy. So she hits him up like, hey, I know I haven't talked to you in a while. What are you doing tonight? And he's like, well, I'm in the studio working on something. I'm busy tonight. And so she feels like he's blowing her off, but I'll talk about that. Choice of words already. But so she just moves on. She's like, no, I got a whole rotation. Let me just keep on rotating them. So she rotates over to Neighbor Bay, and she sees that his light's on, and she starts getting dressed and decides that she's going to do a pop-up. Here's the thing. If he is not your man, and you cannot do a pop-up on a man that is not your man. That's it. That's it. Like, you can't pop up on people. Your man, your woman, whoever you're dating. You gotta be dating and in a relationship to be popping up on people. Because she showed up to Neighbor Bay, and he's like, wait 1 second, did I text you and tell you to come through? I'm so sorry. Like, I would have, and then she's like, no, I just saw that your light was on, so I came down there. And she was ready. She had already pumped herself up in the mirror, like, I'm gonna get this dick, you gonna give it to me, yeah, come and get it. Like, all this stuff. She's like, like, got real pretty, got got her hair together. It was like, ooh, edges right, smelling good, looking good. And he's just like, okay. He's like holding his hand at the door. Like, I'm like, girl, can you not read people? He is trying to tell you that you cannot come in. Because he like had the door at the crack, and it's like, if he don't open the door and let you in immediately, like, hey girl, what's up, boo, like, come in, like, you're not welcome. And so she eventually hears a voice, a female's voice, like, calling him, asking where his charger is, and she realizes he has company. Like, he has company, and he tries to be nice and say, like, oh well, she's from my economics class, and she like been tutoring me and like really helping me out and stuff. And so yeah. And he's like, if I knew that you were, that you wanted to come through, I would have been up there, I would have been up there like hours ago, but I didn't know. Like, and so Issa goes back in her head, and she's like, I can't believe you dissing me, dude. And I was like, girl, again, you at fault. You shouldn't have showed up. He did not turn down your stuff. You were not together. He's one of your hoes on your rotation. And so the understanding is that there's no feelings involved, and you can sleep with whoever you want to, and he can sleep with whoever he wants to. And as long as there is communication of you home, I'm free, you free, I'm for you, you for me tonight, let's do it. And so he tries to let her down, but pretty much like closes the door in her face. She's like, no, it's cool, we know, it's cool, it's cool, it's cool. And so he closes the door in her face. As she's walking away, of course, this is when Daniel sends her the message like, not tonight, I'm busy. And so she's just feeling all kinds of defeated. She eventually decides to move on to her third person in the whole rotation, which is the Latino guy. And so she decided, like, okay, Nico, that's his name. I'm gonna be direct with him this time. Like, you know, he was nice, but I didn't get it then. I'm gonna get the dick tonight. So she's supposed to have a date with Nico. He comes over. Issa is the, like, her seduction skills, awful. He comes to her apartment to pick her up to go to dinner. She is wearing a sweater or this and a short skirt like this big, like something that you could never sit down in. And he comes by and she's like, oh hey, like, you know, I've been busy all day, so I didn't get a chance. I'm still getting, you know, dressed. The skirt I want to wear is in the dryer. And he's like, oh, I like your skirt, looks real cute on you. He's trying to be nice. And she's like, well, you know, sit down, you want some wine, like, you know, while we wait? And he's like, sure. He turns around and sit down, and she decides to pull her, so just imagine this is a bra. She decides to pull her sweater down like this. And she's wearing like a pink bra. And so someone observant like me would have turned around like, girl, what happened? Like, all 2 seconds ago your bra was in your shirt, now it's out of your shirt. And so she thinks that this is, you know, going to work. So she sits down next to him and she's talking to him like, you know, like this skirt, like, you know, you think it's cute? Well, don't worry. Like, don't get too used to it because it's about to come off, you know. And he's just like, uh-huh. And she's like, well, let's, he's trying to ask her questions about the art in her apartment. And she's like, cheers, like, drink, you know, drink this so we can get busy. Already rushing this thing. And so she decides to put on some music. She's like, remember that album we were talking about? I got it. And he's like really trying to talk to her and get to know her. And she immediately like pounces on him. This time she didn't knock him in the head like she did with Neighbor Bay. But she is kissing Nico. He's like, oh, I like it, thank you. And then he's like, we should really go to the restaurant. She said, no, we should, you know, we can just stay here. And he's like, okay, sweetie, no. Like, she already started unbuttoning her shirt. He's like, okay, sweetie, no. And that's when you knew it was over. He called her sweetie. He actually buttoned up back her sweater. He was like, okay, honey, sweetie, I don't want to do this right now. Like, I like you. I want to get to know you. I want to take my time. And so she found the one rare gem on Tinder that actually just wanted to date and not just to fuck. And that is hilarity. And so she's so upset. He's like, you want to go to a restaurant now? She said no. And so he left, and she's just like pissed off that she couldn't, like, all of the dudes in her whole rotation didn't work out. And so she's frustrated. Eventually we see that her, Molly, Kelly, and Tiffany are at this Sexplosions Women's Sexual Liberation Conference that Tiffany invited all of them to. And so it's really cool because the first thing we see is that they walk up to a table that has like flavored condoms, like mango and like island passion and chocolate flavored condoms. And like Issa's like, oh, this is free. And so she starts taking some, and they all take some and, you know, joke about it. And they notice that Molly took some, and they're like, what are you taking it for? She's like, you know, I'm just trying to be, you know, just trying to, you know, be prepared. And they're all laughing and stuff. And then the woman that's behind there is, you know, telling them like, you know, like, we have, you know, all these great flavored condoms. We also have a blowjob tutorial called Good Job Head Job, or Zip Job, Slap on my knob. I don't know, something cute like that. And I just thought it was hilarious that Tiffany was like, I'm gonna sign this up. You know, I could possibly even, you know, give my own tutorial. I could run this thing. And I was like, go ahead, Tiffany. I love Amanda Seales, who plays Tiffany. Like, I just love her. She's just so amazing. Like, I feel like a kindred spirit. She's a Cancer. She's a Caribbean girl. She is a Columbia grad like me. She is smart and funny and beautiful and just all these kind of things. And so I just love that her character, as bougie as she acts, like as she was acting in the first season, that this season she's relaxed a bit, and you can see why they hang out with her. And why Molly's good friends with her, because she put it down, which is like, yeah, like, I love giving blowjobs, like, you know, especially, I mean, Derek, her husband, loves it more, but like, I'm good at it. And so even before that, they all started joking about how, like, you know, like, using condoms during blowjobs, and Kelly's the one that's like, you know, like, a condom during blowjobs, like, that's like, you know, eating a popsicle with a wrapper on. And the lady behind the desk, the table is like, and they're like, oh, no, you know, like, you know, we got to protect the dicks. Yeah, we got to do that. We definitely do, like, you know, safe sex. And so I love that they did that on there. But they start talking about blowjobs, which again, I love this show, because these are conversations that I don't think I have seen. Like, absolutely love that they are tackling this topic from a Black woman's perspective, because there is a lot of talking within the Black community that Black girls don't give blowjobs, that white girls are the ones that do it, and that's why Black men are chasing white girls. And they actually say that in the show. Like, they're talking like, you know, Kelly, like, you light skinned and you went to all white school, so you got brainwashed by them Beckys who convinced you that, you know, blowjobs are the things to do. And you know, Tiffany points out to them that, like, you know, okay, all right, I'm Becky with the good ring, because I'm married, and you have to wonder why some of these Black men are chasing these white women, and like, I'm good at it. What's wrong being good at it? And surprisingly, Kelly, who I feel like is so sexually fluid and open and kind of freaky, said that she does not do it. She hasn't done it since the 11th grade, ever since Jaleel White, not the famous one, but the one from her high school, had some funky balls, and she didn't do it ever again. Molly says that she does it if a guy gives her head first, but you know, Issa's like, well, you know, I don't know about having some dude's dick in my mouth. And Tiffany points out, like, but you're okay with it being in your vagina, like, inside you? And she's like, yeah. And she's like, oh, that don't make no sense. That's why I don't understand Black women. And I was like, that is so true. It's so crazy, the conversation they're having, that the fact that, like, out of all people, Tiffany's the one that is so open about, like, yeah, I love them blowjobs. I think it's great. Like, you really have all the power in this situation, which you do. You really do. You have a lot of things that you are doing when a man's penis is in your mouth. You're, one, controlling the main organ that he's using to direct his life, because that is what they do. They are leading their lives with that other head. And when you have it in your mouth and you are giving it all of the good attention, and it is getting him into a place where all the blood is going to that head and not this head, you can get them to sign, like, co-sign a car for you at that point. You can tell them, you can get them to do anything. Or if they acting like a shithead, you can bite that shit off. Or you can just, yeah, you can bite that shit off. All right, now we're gonna get to the main event. Daniel finally gets back to Issa. Issa goes over to Daniel's house. He's like, I haven't seen you in a while. He's playing her some music. He's like, oh, this is what you were working on in the studio. I guess that's why you were so busy. And he's like, yeah, you know, I've been working on this debut album for this dude, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, yeah, sound good. And, like, you know, she's like, you know, I've been busy too. And he's like trying to be cute with her. Again, I'm so Team Daniel. Like, I'm so Team Daniel. He is chocolate and sexy and has good teeth. Whew. Anyway. So he's trying to, like, you know, rub up on her, trying to kiss her. She's like, wait, I don't know what was going on. I thought she was trying to do, like, the Julia Roberts Pretty Woman, like, you know, I don't kiss you because kissing is for romantic stuff, and you just a hoe, and you in my hotation, so we don't kiss no more. But that wasn't it. She was like, oh, I gotta catch up to you because he's been drinking. And so she took, you know, a sip from his drink, and then he went to go get her another drink. He remembers her favorite drink because, of course, he's known her since she was in college. So that was really cute and shows that he really does care about her, because he took the time to go and get her favorite drinks, which is champagne with a splash of, I think, whiskey. And so the fact that he bought those two things that he doesn't drink because he'd never tasted it, and he was like, you know, let me taste it. Oh, it tastes good. Like, oh, blah. Anyway, so they start kissing, and they start, like, you know, the shit about to go down. And so Issa, I guess she did take in some notes from the tutorial, and decides that she was like, no, I got this. So he was like on top of her. I think he was about to, you know, do his business, get down to the cunnilingus, you know, get on the bed and give me some head, as Lil' Kim said. And she's like, no, I got you. So she flips him over. She gets on her knees. He pulls down his pants, he took his shirt off, and she proceeds to give him some fellatio, aka head, some dome, a blowjob, slob on the knob, like corn on the cob, like. And Daniel's feeling it. He's like, oh yes, oh my gosh, like, obviously she has never given him a blowjob. I don't see how that could happen, but apparently she got some real good tips, because she was doing it real good and he was about to come. He's like, oh man, I'm about to come, oh my gosh. And so she, you know, as someone who doesn't give blowjobs quite often, obviously did not want to have the semen in her mouth. And so she removed herself, and when he was about to come, he splurted in her face, or skeeted on her face, right on her face, like right here. And he's like, oh my gosh, let me get a towel, you want me to wipe it off? And she gets so fucking mad. And all I was thinking was, girlfriend, wipe that shit off. He did offer a towel. He didn't do it on purpose. Wipe that shit off and jump on that shit. And if you really mad at him for splaying that shit in your face, you wipe that shit off. Get him to go wipe it off. Go get a towel. You say, oh, I can't believe you did this. Go get a towel, wipe my face, and then get down there and give me some head. You gonna give me some head until I tell you to stop. You ain't get no pussy, just that pussy with your tongue. No penis inside of me because of what you did. But obviously we are two different people. And so Issa is mad. She gets so mad, she like hits him. She's like, don't touch me, get off me. Like, he's trying to apologize, and she's like, I can't believe you did that. And he's like, I never asked you to give me head. Like, I really didn't. I thought you were into it. It was really good. Like, and that's just what happens. Like, hello girl, when, you know, when the volcano is about to erupt, you have to do one or two things. You gotta duck and hide. Like, oh, you gotta run and hide. Like, oh, okay, so it doesn't get you. Or you gotta tell him where to put it. Or the third option, if you're real freaky, you know, and then you swallow. We're getting so intimate. Anyway, so she's so mad, she leaves. Obviously this is over with Daniel. She's done. He skeeted in her face, and she didn't like that. In her eyes, she's like walking around like Popeye, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. She calls an Uber to pick her up. The Uber picks her up. They're like, and she's in an Uber pool, which is hilarious. And so there's another passenger in the car, is a white girl. The guy picks her up and says, are you Issa? She said yes. He's like, it's a carpool. And she's just so pissed not in it. The girl next to her says, go put on a black station. And she's like, yeah, I like this, when he turned the radio on. I was just like, I would have been super pissed off just from that. Just looking at her like, I can't believe you just fucking said that shit, bitch. But anyway, that is how that episode ended. And again, I was like, girl, when that shit happened, again, I would have handled that so differently. Like, I am fully team Daniel. Daniel, she warmed you up. She was the fluffer. I'm the finisher. We can get this popping. Team Daniel. Team Daniel all the way. I'm really team Daniel. Daniel, call me. Call me, Daniel. Call me. I fluff and I finish. Anyway, what did you guys think of this episode? I thought it was so wild. I can't believe that they showed sperm hitting a woman's face on television. The last episode they showed a dick pic. Second episode they showed skeet in the face. Like, on the face. I laughed so hard. I couldn't believe they did that. I love this show. I love how real it is. This is real life shit. And that was some women's real life reactions to a guy doing that to them, especially if they don't enjoy or do fellatio often. Someone like me would have just been like, okay, get the towel. Get the business. So anyway, thanks for checking me out, guys. I'll see you next week for episode 7, and I'm going to finish this. And see, for this episode, I got out the good crystal. Real right here, not the fake shit.